Right, we're going to make an artichoke soup now, which sounds quite fancy. It's these little beauties here. We're doing this because we had a really good harvest in the garden. So, you know, although it sounds expensive, it's not. It's all from the garden. So we got a chopped onion, 1 stick of celery, 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, about, I suppose, 1.5 pounds of Jerusalem artichokes. I've got all of the herbs are from the garden. You can use dried herbs, but I've got some sage, some thyme, some oregano, some rosemary, 1 bay leaf. And I'm going to put all these in a little bag. If you don't have little baggies, you can just tie it into a bunch with a bit of string. So we shove that in the little baggie. The bay leaf, just pull the strings tight. Tie away knot. And then we just throw this in. It allows us to take the herbs out when it's finished cooking. As I say, you can tie it up with a piece of string. This is just a bit easier. So just before we start cooking with all this, I'm going to show you how to prepare one of these. They look complex. They're not. They're just like a potato. They grow similar to a potato. They're not, but so they're a tuber. They grow underground. Loads of them. Take a potato peeler and just literally peel away. Some are knobblier than others, but bear with it. Just peel off over the top. When I was a commis chef, I used to hate these coming in because you get given a big box of them to do. Hours of peeling. Such joy. So, peel that down. Throw it in the water. That's how you prep those. So I will get on with the cooking now. Okay, so we've got a pan warming. We're going to put a little olive oil in there. Once we sort the lighting out. Put in our onions. And garlic. And we're going to cook these out until the nasty smell goes. So 2 or 3 minutes and then we'll come back. Okay, they've softened up. The raw smell's gone. So throw in the celery. Now I'm going to add a splash of brandy. You don't put it in because it's obviously not cheap, but this is the plastic bottle stuff from Asda. It's about £5 a bottle. I wouldn't drink it, but it's good for cooking. As I say, you don't have to add it. It doesn't strictly need it. So you reduce that away. Now we're going to throw in our Jerusalem artichokes. These, incidentally, are really good in antioxidants and they're basically good for you. I won't bore you. Okay, they're softened down a little bit now, so we're going to add enough water to cover the artichokes by about 1 inch, I suppose. You don't want it too thick, you don't want it too thin, but you can always boil it away anyway. You can put a potato in and that will thicken it and give you more soup, but it will change the texture. Without the potato, it's going to be a lovely texture. With the potato, you're going to have like a graininess to it. Into that, I'm going to add some chicken stock. That's probably a couple of cubes. You can use vegetable stock if you'd rather. I like the chicken. And the little baggie we made of the herbs. Now we're going to bring that to the boil and then just let it simmer until all these are really soft. Right, it's happily boiling away at the moment. I'm Just going to start seasoning it. So, like potatoes, they do want a bit of salt. So a couple of bits of salt there. And then you should use ground white pepper. I think it's harsh on the throat, so I'm going to use black pepper, which will spoil the effect of it, but the flavour is more important than the looks, in my opinion. Not everyone thinks that way. There you go. It's going to take about another 5-10 minutes to cook now. Okay, that's been cooking now. There you can see that they're soft. You can mash them against the side with a spoon. So they cook much like a potato. So take the little baggie out, squeeze as much of the stock out as we can. You can make this sort of thing very complex using cream and all other things, but really, because these are so fresh out of the garden, why spoil them? So I'm going to take a hand blitzer now and just blend it. Okay, so we just finished blending it. Now how thick you want it is entirely up to you. If you make it too thick, it becomes a chore to eat it. If it's nice and runny like this, it's a drinking soup rather than eating soup. So that's it. Now we're just going to serve it. We're going to dress it with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of yoghurt. You can use double cream if you will, but the yoghurt, low-fat yoghurt, more healthy. Also, it's only 50p a big tub, so good for the pocket as well. The doctors will rave about you eating this. It's really good for you. So, a little bit of yoghurt in the middle, just to give it a slight creaminess. And just a little bit of olive oil. And there you have it. Artichoke soup. Now I've done a separate video on how to make the bread that goes with that soup.